Hey folks, welcome to Bear Mountain. Well, it's time to bump up our zinnias. Now you might have remembered we did a video about planting zinnias in mini blocks. They're up and they're really starting to move fast. This is the Oklahomas. They did really well. And we did really well with the Binary Giants too. Now, the Binary Giant seeds and the Oklahoma seeds were seeds that were at least 5 years old, so they still germinated really pretty well. It looks like greater than 70%. Profusion, though, I'm kind of disappointed, particularly in double deep red. That one, it just, we didn't get the germination that I would have thought. Now, that was a little bit older seed too, but they're a slightly different. They're not an elegans series. It's a different series. So I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. The Zaharas, I kind of had a mixed bag. The salmon didn't germinate as well. This is the salmon right here on this side. Didn't germinate as well as, say, the bright orange. Doesn't always figure that red and orange you really do kind of okay with. But anyway, we still have quite a bit to plant up. I've noticed that I've got something that's been munching on a couple of leaves, so I think something in here has been kind of hiding on me. I found a little itty bitty frog this morning. He was kind of hanging around the zinnias, so I'm thinking he was looking for snacks. So I got something in my greenhouse that's causing some issues. But what we're going to do here is we're going to bump all these guys up to get them a little bigger. We're going to use our 6-packs. And we're going to be using a mix of half Pro Mix and half a basically raised bed compost mix. So it's a little bit coarser mixture and has nutrients in it. We have gotten to the point now where we're going to be fertilizing these guys with the Jadam liquid fertilizer. And like as I said before, we're going to use the grass-based one, dilute it 1 to 100. And fertilize these guys at least once a week, and just to kind of keep them up and going. It's going to be important here as these guys grow on that they get the nutrients they need to get bigger. They're going to be transplanted in the ground in about probably 3 weeks, if it takes that long. I don't even think it'll take that long. With the temperatures we're having, things are going to start moving pretty fast. So they're going to be planted in our new area in the back of the house. And I think they're going to be, the germination looks pretty good. They're particularly the Binary Giants and Oklahomas. They're really looking like they want to go. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. The Zaharas and the Profusions are for our pots, and they're moving. They took a little bit longer to germinate. I got these guys, the Binaries and the Oklahomas started germinating in 3 days. And I was pretty impressed with that. As old as the seed was, I thought it would take a little bit longer. The Zaharas and Profusions, they started germinating about 6-7 days late after planting. So they were slower, and they're a bit behind where the big guys are at. So, but anyway, that's what we're going to be doing today, and we're going to get, it looks like to me, particularly what I'm looking at is when I look at these individuals like on the Oklahomas, I can kind of see there's 20 of the miniature blocks in a charge, and it looks to me like I'm getting somewhere in the neighborhood of about 15 in a charge. And so I guess I'm probably, what's that, about 3/4 roughly of percentage wise. So if I'm doing 120 and I probably got somewhere in the neighborhood, I can probably do a tray and a half. Not even that much, probably. Thinking about it, I'm probably going to be well, I'm not very good at math in my head, but I'm guessing somewhere around 84 to 90 plants of both the Giant and the Oklahoma. And I'm going to hold off a couple days, I think, on the Zaharas and the Profusions, because they just basically really started germinating really well. So I'm just going to do the Oklahomas and the Benaries today. And then we need to get them in some sunshine so that when we want them, we don't want them to grow leggy. So if I leave them in the greenhouse too long, they're going to get leggy, and they're not, because I have diffuse light in here. And what I want is I want these guys to grow stocky and strong. So I'm going to be, getting these guys outside in some sunshine too. So let's get the trays set up, and we'll show you the transplant process and what they kind of look like when we pull them out of the blocks. What to look for, and I can already see, like in some of them, I can see little roots at the edge of the block. So these guys are really ready to transplant. So let's get at it. All right, so we got our 6-packs filled up here, and the next step we're going to do is we're just going to go through. I'm just using an old fence rod here with a point, and I'm just going to make a dibble that I'm probably going to end up widening with my finger, but it's a good way to get started. And just kind of dibble each one of these guys. So we have a starting point. And let me just get this out of the way here. Meanwhile, just to kind of, hum among yourselves, maybe a catchy tune like the theme to Jeopardy or something, while I do this, because I'm too cheap to buy music to put in my videos. Yeah. Whatever you do, don't use the theme from The Odd Couple. You'll never get it out of your mind. It's a earworm that won't quit. I shouldn't have suggested that, because now you're all are thinking about the theme to The Odd Couple, and you go, what is that? Some of you will Google it, and you'll go, oh yeah, I can't get that out of my head. So the mix is, like I said, is about 50-50 between the Pro Mix and the potting compost. And the Pro Mix is really kind of bringing in the extra perlite, stuff like that. And there's only nutrients would be from the compost itself. So, okay, what we're going to do here, as you can see, here's our tray. And I'm going to start with the salmon rose. So I'm just going to put my little tag right here. And I did salmon rose. I did 40 of them. So what I'm going to do is kind of gently just kind of break the things, the actual individual cells apart. And what you can see is, hopefully it focuses, you can see the roots. And that's kind of what we're going for. This is the kind of the stage that we want to get these guys at. And then we can just use our finger and put them in the actual cell itself. So like when I'm just kind of widening the hole a little bit, pushing it out, and I'm going to stuff it in, roots and all, as far as I can get it into the cell, and just kind of push it around it. And that is basically it. And we just go through and keep doing this to every single one. Takes a little bit of time. Now, I know if you're using regular soil blocks, the next step would be you go up to 2-inch block, which has a very nice little square pattern to it. And but I find that it uses a lot more mix than I need to use, and that these guys work really well with the dibble stick. That was the hardest part with the 2-inch blocks, is they all had to be planted manually by hand on your hands and knees, instead of just putting a dibble in and then dropping each one of these cell packs into it. Now that maybe it's also a little more efficient with the soil mix. And for some reason, I've tried many different techniques, from capillary mats, etc., to effectively water 2-inch blocks. And I've always had a trouble with, keeping that moisture level up. And so here's an example. planted, and we're just kind of finish off and get the whole tray. We'll just kind of keep working our way through. Got to make sure things are labeled. What I'm doing is I'm putting the label in the front. So if I do 4 packs, then I'll put the label and everything to the right of the label. Front and back would be that varietal color. If I have to stop, I'll make an extra tag for the actual 6-pack that's different. So I know I have more than enough to do the number of 6-packs I have here, so I'm not too concerned about it. Now these guys will look a little floppy for a day or so, but they'll perk up pretty fast. I'm not going to put any kind of perlite over the top at this point. I don't think I really need it, and because they're not going to be in the 6-pack that long that I'd worry about like algae or stuff like that. And there's no algae on these blocks, so I'm in pretty good shape. So we'll just keep going and planting every single one of these that we can from the mini blocks that we started. Okay, this is the second tray. We finished up on our big guys, the Veneris and the Aurora, and we averaged about 75% on those. The Aurora was actually a little lower. It was probably about 73%, 72%, somewhere in their neighborhood. And we ended up with, filling out the second tray with Oklahoma series. And I was really disappointed in the Oklahoma Ivory. I thought I had more in there than that. And what it turns out is I got roughly, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4, 24, 26. We got 26 out of 40. So, yeah, we're just a little over 60% on that one. So it really dropped a lot. The Oklahoma seed was old seed, so maybe that's part of it. But anyway, I still got a few more to go. I got Oklahoma salmon left, and I do have some of the Carmine Rose, and it looks like I'm probably going to end up with Carmine Rose somewhere in the neighborhood of back into the average again of about 30 or so. See, I got 16 and I got 18 here. 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, I'm well over 70%, 75%. So I guess maybe it was just the ivory was having trouble. Anyway, I think last step here, just kind of wet these guys down, and then we'll wrap things up. Okay, so we've got, looks like, when I get finished here, I'm going to have somewhere about 2.5 trays of 72. So we're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 180 transplant out of the mini block trays, which is 240. So it's roughly 75%. Again, the Oklahoma and the Benary were old seed, and Aurora, which had poorer germination than the Benaries, was new seed. But on average, it looks like we're going to average out pretty close to 75% total across, even though the Aurora was a bit low. So others were a little higher, and so it's all going to kind of wash itself out. I feel that's pretty good. So we'll end up with 180 out of the first planting for the large and the small-headed zinnias, and give it another few days on the profusions and Zaharas, and we'll do the same thing to them, bump them up, and then they should be ready for pot transplant, sometime around June 10th to June 15th in that time frame. Going to let these guys recover for about a day. They should perk up. Make sure I'm just going to come in and make sure that they're not stressed out. I may give them a little squirts of water later in the day. It's going to be pretty warm today, and then they should be able to hopefully perk up, and then I should be able to fertilize them tomorrow. So that's one of my chores. Thanks for watching today, and as always, stay safe out there. We'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.